Welcome. My name is Diederik Martens. I'm from Smop Software, and thank you for joining our demo of our latest version of Calcitnow, one of our SmopSoft solutions. As you probably know, if you have a SmopSoft account, which is free, you're able to manage all your solutions, licenses, users, invoices, support, and so on. And Calcitnow is one of our solutions which enables you to either as standalone or in combination with your marketing automation platform or CRM system to do any kind of field calculations and manipulations. So I'm very excited to show you the 2.0 demo right now. So let's go and log in. You can log in by logging into your SmopSoft account and in the overview launch the solution, or you can go directly to the server you're hosted on. And let me give you this example. This is the US West server, which is located in Northern California. So this is all would be best if you would have the server most closest to your marketing automation platform server. So when we log in, obviously we get redirected to our SmopSoft account where we log in and get redirected back to our application. So let's have a look at the interface. And on the right top hand side, you can go to my account at SmopSoft. You can launch any of the other solutions that we provide with single sign-on. So we can now switch directly to some of the other applications you might have a license in. Or you can go directly to support to ask questions. So you always end up at the dashboard. Just one thing to notice, we're doing this demo on a sandbox, so hence the message on the top left side here. Calcitnow pricing is based on the amount of API calls you do with your marketing automation platform, for instance. So the dashboard provides you an overview of how many calls you're doing a day, what the reasons are for these calls, for instance, calculations or field synchronization, which of your formulas do the most API calls, how many fields you currently have. And one of the things interesting about fields is I come back to that in a sec, is that we refresh those for you on a daily basis. If you have any, you know, frequently asked questions, you can browse the frequently asked questions section specifically and get all kinds of ideas and insight on how to tackle frequently asked challenges. So, um, if you don't have a native supported map or if you use it standalone, you would only have this top pane right here providing you with the API user and key. But if you have a native integration, for instance with Marketo, you would see these 5 panes right here. If you have set up a API user in your Marketo instance, you can then uh, type in the host, client ID, and client secret in the first pane and update your credentials. If you need any help on how to set it up, there's a frequently asked question section that completely covers that. You will then see that it's connected when it was last updated and how many fields are synced. So one thing to take into account is that we don't copy your data. We don't store any lead data or whatsoever. But we do want to see and know what kind of fields and custom fields you have so that if you create a formula, you can pick directly from your fields. So these are refreshed on a daily basis, but you can also do that manually. It also maps your lead partitions, and some of the formulas you can limit to only leads that are on a specific list. So therefore, you will be able to refresh your lists. Depending on the amount of lists you have, that can take a while. So just keep the screen open. Then you have a test lead ID. So basically, if you want to test a formula, it will pick this lead ID to test the results before you activate one. So let's have a look at your formulas. So in this case, I have 3 formulas already set up, and 2 of them are deactivated. And the reason why is, for instance, I switched marketing automation platform. So these old formulas are no longer working, of course, because they are based on certain fields that don't exist anymore, or they were limited to a specific list that doesn't exist anymore. So before going back to this overview, let's create our first formula. Something frequently used is that for every month of inactivity, we want to decrease lead score by 10%. So there are a couple of ways you can do that. I would use the free format editor for that, but let me show you how the simple format looks like. So we take the simple one. It limits the amount of type of fields you can use. So let's take lead score, give it a description. Then you only have a limited amount of functions that are available because of the simple formula editor. But you could do a sum, and then you could take lead score, and then you could take lead score again. Uh, but in this case, it basically would double your lead score plus lead score. The ID you see here is the ID that we use for your field. So actually, let's use the free format. So in the free format, you will see a lot more options. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a product in this case. And you can type in here freely, but you could of course also drag in something. So we're going to take lead score. As you can see, it automatically pulls the lead ID, and we do 0.9 to do it, do a product with 90%. So then you have a couple of options. If you have a standalone version, you would only be able to select webhook only, which basically you call a URL with some query strings, and you will get the result and you would map that yourself. But if you have a native integration, you have a couple of other options. So basically it uses the REST API to sync on a daily basis. So what would happen is that this would now apply to any record. So every day, every record would have the lead score, be done times 90%. So you only want a specific amount of leads to have that. So the amount of leads that you want, you could put them in a static list with some kind of workflow, and you would then select that list, and then will only apply to leads on that list. So you're in control. So we save that. Then the formula is created. It's not yet activated. So let's click here or on your formulas. And you would now see our new formula right here. It's still deactivated. So what we want to do is test it first. And as you can see, you see some basic things here. Well, actually, this lead doesn't have any lead score. So 0 times 90% is obviously 0. And if you would use the webhook functionality, you would click here. You would take this link and you would copy that into your marketing automation platform and use that. If you're satisfied, you can activate the formula. Well, let's not do that right now. And you, of course, you can also remove a formula. The final thing I want to show you is that if we use a free format formula is the amount of functions that you can do. So you have some formatting options, um, some math options you can do. You can combine texts. There are date uh, elements you could do. You could either take a date and then do it minus a month. For instance, if you have some kind of license date and you want to do a campaign 30 days before their license expires, and you can also subtract a couple of dates and then get the difference and then formulate that in the amount of days in difference or months in difference. So there's a lot of options you have. So that's what I wanted to